What is up? GoodMicWork back at you, up here as quick as possible. SummerSlam 2016 is in the books. It literally just ended. I wanted to come up here right away and give some thoughts on it. So hopefully I will have this thing uploaded and to you just a couple of hours at the most after the pay-per-view. The main event just ended. Why don't we start with that? A lot to talk about here, but we might as well jump right into it. Very perplexing main event. I'm surprised they went with the finish that they did. A lot of speculation on what the main event would actually be. It did turn out, in fact, to be Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton, which on the surface I'm fine with. However, the finish that they went with, I think they should have done the match earlier because it was the match was thrown out. It was a TKO. Brock Lesnar completely beat the shit out of Randy Orton, mounted him, and just punched him with elbows and fists and looked like it opened him up hard way, although I think Randy Orton might have also bladed as well. But the referees basically stopped the match, and I'm a little bit confused. Like, looking at it, I'm almost wondering if Orton bladed too hard. I mean, blood was pouring out of his head. It reminded me of when Eddie Guerrero botched his blade job in that match with JBL. I think the intention was for Brock to open him up hard way, but maybe he had a blade on him just in case, and maybe they did both. But whatever it was, they eventually called for the match. Brock stayed mostly dominant throughout the match, although Orton had a few moments. There was a few moments of offense there. It wasn't a complete domination like Brock has done to John Cena and others in the past. Orton nailed him with an RKO on the table and then an RKO in the ring, and one of his sick-ass middle rope DDTs that he did there that I thought he legit broke Brock's neck. And after the RKO, Orton had him down for a 2 9/10 count. So Orton had a few moments there, and I thought the way the finish was going to go, as soon as he started busting him open, because that was clearly the intent. Even the announcers were saying, Morrow, you could hear him saying, he's trying to open him up with all those elbows and punches, and finally he did. I thought he was going to keep beating him and then kind of resting back on the turnbuckle and laughing at Orton trying to struggle to his feet, and then eventually Orton would blindside him with an RKO and get the victory and celebrate with blood all over his face. I thought it would have been great. And plus everything that's going on with Brock Lesnar right now, the controversy surrounding him, I could have seen Randy Orton winning this match. A lot of people were certain that Brock would win, and I would normally be right there with him. But after everything that took place with Brock Lesnar, I had a feeling maybe they would have him drop a match here just so they didn't look like assholes for not doing anything or not punishing Brock Lesnar at all for the shitstorm that he caused. But he wound up beating Randy Orton anyway, a little bit different of a type of victory with the TKO thing, something that they have not done very often in wrestling, and Lesnar picks up the victory. So I predicted that match wrong. I thought maybe Orton would be able to squeak out a victory here just due to all the shit surrounding Brock Lesnar, but it was not meant to be, and Brock Lesnar won, and I'm fine with it because I still love Brock. He's still just an unstoppable beast, and the way they put him over with tonight, he's even that much more scary now. I mean, he literally beat Randy Orton into a bloody pulp. The fans were chanting for Goldberg. A lot of people thought, including myself, that somebody might interfere. Bray Wyatt was not even booked for this show. Goldberg has been rumored to be in the New York City area, and the comeback rumors and all of that since he's been involved with the video game. I thought that might be a likely thing. And then after the match, after the bell was called for and Brock continued the assault on Randy, I thought for sure we would see someone like that. The only person that came out was Shane McMahon, who ended up getting F5'd for it. So Brock Lesnar laid out SmackDown, so you have to wonder what the ramifications of that are going to be, if this is going to create more of a war between Raw and SmackDown, if Brock is going to stick around maybe for another match with a SmackDown guy, possibly a rematch with Orton, or if he's going to be off TV until Survivor Series or most likely Royal Rumble. We'll have to wait and see. Was it last year? I forgot when it was, but I think Brock worked the Night of Champions after SummerSlam. Oh, no, he didn't. I'm sorry. He worked Hell in the Cell with Taker shortly after their SummerSlam match. So, Brock could come back for one more before the Royal Rumble, and maybe it has something to do with SmackDown, and maybe he's going to take on another guy. Who knows? All I know was the main event was a little bit of a letdown. I mean, I don't know what we really wanted out of it. The match was exactly what I expected as far as the pace of it goes and the psychology goes. Everything that I thought would happen happened, so I can't say I'm disappointed in it. I was just a little bit confused by the way it ended. Moving backwards on the card now, the big Universal Championship was unveiled tonight, and I could not be more disappointed. It's almost as if WWE listened to my commentaries and said, let's do the exact opposite of what this guy wants. The exact thing that I said that I don't want them to do is make a carbon copy of the World Heavyweight title and paint it fucking red. And I was saying that almost more of a joke, because even though WWE does things like that sometimes, I didn't expect them to be that stupid and that lazy and that uncreative, but that's literally exactly what they did. That belt looks like a purse. a bright red fucking purse. I don't get it at all. Looks like Charlotte's belt. What the hell is going on here? So, very disappointing coming from a belt snob like myself that the WWE couldn't at least try to give us something else. You know, they got to have that WWE logo front and center. Finn Balor, I think, is going to be on SportsCenter tomorrow, so they want the whole world to see the goddamn WWE logo like nobody knows who the hell WWE is. They ran a whole 4-minute long video package tonight during SummerSlam talking about how they are literally fucking everywhere. On every talk show, every TV show, sporting event, you name it, they show up there. So the fact that they couldn't do something a little bit more fun with this Universal title, maybe give it its own identity. I know we saw that photoshopped pic of the Winged Eagle belt and it got, all of us aroused, but I knew WWE wouldn't go that far with it, but I was hoping they would meet us somewhere in the middle, and just really disappointed with the Universal title. As far as who won that belt, wow, I was wrong again. A lot of my predictions were wrong tonight. Seth Rollins did not win that belt, Finn Balor did. And when I think of the ending of Rollins and Balor, and I think of the ending of Brock and Randy Orton, why did they not switch those two matches? To me, Balor and Rollins should have been in the main event, given what the main event finish actually was. So to me, those matches should have been reversed. But all in all, not a whole lot of complaints. The crowd wasn't that much into it because a match that we're going to talk about a little bit later on, I think, zapped all the fans' energy. Plus, it was a 6-hour-long fucking show. It just went on and on. So even though you had two of the best wrestlers in the world working for a world title, the fans were struggling to get into it. But finally, Balor and Seth really kicked it into high gear near the end and near the finish, and the fans started getting into it a little bit. I was just enjoying the match. I knew it was going to be good. I know they're going to probably have more matches, and Balor actually picked up this victory clean. No double turn, no bullshit, no interference, nothing like that. A great finishing sequence where Seth did that top rope suplex and then went into another one, but instead he just went right into his pedigree, which I think Finn countered and then hit him with a dropkick into the turnbuckle and then hit him with the coup de grace finish and won the belt. It was an amazing match and a great moment for Finn Balor. Can you guys believe the confidence WWE has in this guy? I mean, has anybody been, just thrusted to the top of the card more than Finn Balor? I know there's been a person here or there, but as far as what they've been doing with Finn is really unprecedented, and it just speaks volumes to the level of confidence and how refreshing it is to see that the WWE is putting so much time, energy, and effort into people like Finn Balor, AJ Styles, and others. This is something that we would not have seen, 8-9 years ago. So I am pleasantly surprised. Kind of shocked at the outcome. I thought Seth would take it, but he didn't, and I am not complaining. So congratulations to Finn Balor, and I'm sure the program between him and Seth will continue. The other title match, of course, was Dolph Ziggler challenging Dean Ambrose for the WWE title, and a very good match, which we thought that it would be. And Dean Ambrose did pick up the victory, which I kind of predicted. We all did. None of us really saw Dolph winning the title at this particular show. Not that he can't in the future, but it was a clean victory for Dean Ambrose, pinned him with the dirty deeds, and overall good match, but again, nothing that shocking because the finish, in my opinion, was just a tiny bit predictable. The United States title match was actually the co-main event tonight, Rusev versus Roman Reigns. Guess what? Never even got off the ground. So the last two matches had very bizarre finishes. So I didn't mind this because I really wasn't interested in seeing this match again. We just saw a very long match between the two of them just a week ago on Raw. So the fact that they did the brawl instead was kind of nice, and they almost did an injury angle with Rusev. Now, I'll talk about the rumors that have been going around in just a little bit, but apparently tomorrow, I might have to come up here with a video before Monday Night Raw. Apparently a shit ton of people failed wellness policy tests or something like that, and apparently there are going to be a few suspensions handed down tomorrow from what everybody was telling me on Twitter. That could be completely false. I'm just repeating what everybody was telling me and links to articles that people were sending me and all this shit. So when I watched what happened between Roman Reigns and Rusev, part of me thought that maybe Rusev is one of those guys because they did an injury angle with him. And people might say, well, GoodMicWork, if he's going to get suspended, why didn't they take the belt off of him? Well, because Roman Reigns was just suspended. They don't want to reward him yet, so they don't want to take the belt and punish one guy for getting suspended and give it to another guy that they are in the middle of punishing for getting suspended. So part of me thinks that they might suspend Rusev tomorrow with everybody else, and he can sit on the shelf for 30 days selling the rib injury from the Roman Reigns beatdown. Rusev started this whole thing, too, by the way, attacking Roman before the match started. Roman got the better of him, beat the shit out of him, and when they're carrying Rusev out, Roman Reigns comes back for one more spear and nails him. So kind of an interesting finish there as well, which kind of raises a couple of eyebrows. Which brings us to the Women's Championship match. Champion Sasha taking on challenger Charlotte in a match that I also predicted incorrectly. Charlotte won back the women's title. I was completely floored by that. I thought that they would go with Sasha for a little while. I didn't think that her winning the title on Raw was just a ratings ploy. I thought they would actually stick with her, at least for a little while. Her and Charlotte had a hell of a fucking match also, by the way. I mean, there was that one spot where Charlotte just dropped Sasha on the ropes and she almost killed herself. I don't know if that was intentional or a botch. We had a top rope razor's edge countered into like a head scissors type of thing. It was fucking nuts. I also love the top rope Boston Crab that Sasha put on Charlotte. That was very unique, and I'd never really seen that before, and I couldn't believe the crowd wasn't really popping for it. And I thought to myself, well, shit, it's in New York City. They're not going to pop for a Boston Crab, you know what I mean? But that was incredibly innovative, and I loved it. The ending was great, with Sasha putting Charlotte in the bank statement, and she counters it into a pinning sequence and pins Sasha's shoulders to the mat and wins back the title in a really shocking finish. The crowd was even surprised. I loved the whole thing. So very proud of those girls. Unbelievable match. And speaking of all those rumors I just mentioned about a minute ago, people are saying that Sasha is going to be one of the names that are getting suspended. Apparently she's been pulled from the live events over the next 30 days. So whether or not any of this is true, I don't know. Don't quote me on it because I haven't done any research. I'm just saying what everybody's telling me. I'm not a news reporter, but if any of this turns out to be true, that could very well be why they took the belt off of Sasha tonight, and it's a shame. What the hell did these people do? Did they all go to that overseas tour? Weren't they just overseas like last week or the week before? Did they all get fucked up together? I mean, what the hell happened? I never got a chance to mention the other suspensions when I talked about Alberto Del Rio in my last commentary, because during the upload of that, it was announced that Paige and Eva Marie was also suspended. So there's been suspensions left and right here, and apparently there is more to come. We didn't see Bray Wyatt on the show tonight. I thought he was going to interfere in that Orton versus Lesnar match. What if he's one of the names that have been suspended? I'm just going to hold out hope that this whole thing is bullshit, and tomorrow when I wake up, nobody is suspended. The other big news was one that a lot of fans kind of had a feeling about. My girl, Nikki, returned tonight at SummerSlam, and I gotta be honest, I knew she was coming back. This morning when her and I were in the shower together, she said, look, if you spoil this for me, I will not suck your dick for a week. So clearly I had no choice here, and I didn't want to say anything on Twitter, but she did return as Eva Marie's replacement, and they did the thing where, you know, they didn't announce that she was suspended and just cut her from the match. They continued on with the trend, so maybe when she comes back, they'll keep her on this pace, because I was actually kind of into it a little bit. I thought it was going to be something that might be fun to watch, and it's a shame that the one push that this moron gets, she fucks it up with a wellness policy violation. So they did the whole entrance, and the guy voicing the Titantron said that she's, you know, emotionally damaged because the fans are so mean to her, and she's going to take a month-long vacation somewhere in Tahiti or whatever the hell they said. So she won't be making the match, but she is going to have a replacement, which is, of course, Nikki Bella, who, of course, was recently cleared by doctors to return to the ring. So a lot of fans could kind of sniff that one out, but I couldn't spoil the surprise for you. So I hope you were surprised, and guess who got the pin? Nikki Bella. Let's talk about the match of the night. Easily goes to John Cena and AJ Styles, and that is saying something, because with this stacked card, with the potential we had from Ambrose and Ziggler, and especially Rollins and Finn Balor, and I thought Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar would even surprise us. I did not expect Cena and AJ to be the best match. I expected it to be a good match, a great match in fact, but probably not the best on the card, but I think that it was. And the fans had a lot to do with that as well. I mean, you could see in those later matches when the fans were probably, you know, number one, a little bit half burnt out, but you also see how much of a reaction John Cena generates from the audience. The people that hate him, the fans, of course, were shitting all over John Cena. They were singing John Cena sucks to the chorus of his theme song when his theme song was not even playing during the match. It was unbelievable. So the crowd was into it. They were extremely pro AJ. The match was phenomenal, no pun intended. Man, when I think about good wrestling, that is exactly the type of match I'm talking about. And it was so epic, too, because AJ Styles and his track record and where he's been in his life against John Cena and what he has done in his life, it's such a perfect clash of titans, so to speak. And I predicted AJ Styles. I thought this would be a really good opportunity for AJ. I mentioned in my last commentary that the WWE, if they want to get the value out of him while they can, while he's still young enough to perform at this unbelievably high level, they need to strike while the iron's hot and put him over now. I didn't mind the losses to Roman Reigns and shit like that earlier on in the year because he just got there. But by this point, he's proven himself. His main events that he's been in has been fantastic. Every time he's in the ring, he performs. And WWE did give him the victory. Again, no interference, no bullshit, no Balor Club, no nothing. John Cena versus AJ Styles, and AJ beat him clean. Lots of kickouts, of course. AJ Styles, in fact, kicked out of a top rope AA. Now, if John Cena would have kicked out of a top rope Styles clash, the fans would have set the building on fire. So there's always that double standard there with John Cena fans. But I don't mind the kickouts of finishers. It's what we always see in these big-time matches like that, so we knew we were going to get this sort of thing. And but it didn't matter. I mean, the guys made the match look so good. They both performed at an amazing level. I was proud. I mean, I was just beaming with pride as a wrestling fan. I'm like, what a fucking match this is. And as it got to be like 3/4 of the way through the match, I started getting to the point where I didn't care who won. This is great. But much to my delight, AJ Styles did get the clean victory over John Cena. He hit him with the Styles Clash and the phenomenal forearm and got the pin on John Cena right there in the middle of the ring. And John Cena has lost his 6th straight SummerSlam match. And he's lost a lot of matches in recent months and even years. I mean, he lost on his way out before he got injured last year, and he's been losing ever since he came back. So this idea that John Cena wins all the time really only applies before 2013. You know, in the last few years, it has not been that way. He's lost quite a few matches and quite a few of them clean. And the last time I can ever remember really throwing up over a John Cena victory was when he beat The Rock at WrestleMania 29. After that, anything else he's done, I really haven't had a problem with because he's not been smashed over the way he was. And we have to be happy that the WWE is realizing this, that he's not going to be the guy that runs this place anymore. He might have some moments, he might win another world title, but as far as being the guy, those days are over, and we should all be happy. So congratulations to AJ Styles. That is a massive victory. To beat a guy like Cena completely clean on a pay-per-view like SummerSlam after already defeating him in a singles match a couple of months ago, not too many guys can say that. So I had predicted in my last couple of commentaries that AJ Styles, I think, would get a feud for the belt at some point, and I think that could be coming close on the horizon because John Cena might be taking off. The ending of the match was really interesting, and it almost brought a tear to my eye because John Cena sat there in the ring, and we got that moment that we get sometimes with really good matches where the fans kind of cheer the loser and just applaud the effort and the good match by both men. But you would never think the fans would do that for Cena, especially in New York. But even those New York fans, the same people that were singing John Cena Sucks to the tune of his theme song 20 minutes before this, showed him love. And I couldn't fucking believe it. And I called it out years ago. I said, you know what? One day, John Cena's going to be a veteran. All the fans that were young and annoyed by him are going to grow up and turn into mature men and women and probably will wind up appreciating John Cena just a little bit more later on in his career. And I think I can finally see that trend starting to shift because John Cena's starting to lose matches. Fans are never going to love the guy. I'm not saying that. But as far as maybe them lightening up and saying, okay, we don't want him dead anymore, and even though we don't like him, we hated his pushes, you have to at least respect the man's efforts. And I think tonight the New York fans showed John Cena that. And to me, that was, me who tries to be such a positive guy, and I'd rather spread peace than hate. And for the fans to even do that, especially in New York of all places, was refreshing to see. So it's like the fans were actually clapping. Thanks, John, for actually doing a fucking job and getting your shoulders pinned to the mat 1, 2, 3, and a big win for AJ, and I'm excited for AJ's future. Apparently, John Cena is probably going to go do a TV show or do some sort of other outside project, some of you have been telling me. So that's great for him. I wish him nothing but the best, and when he comes back, we'll have to see what they do with John Cena. But if you look at his body of work over the past year, he's been losing a lot. As far as the rest of it goes, we can kind of blow through it here. The New Day did retain. Big E did return, as I predicted, but he did not turn heel. Came out to save the New Day. The match ended in a disqualification when he ran out there and interfered. New Day keeps the belts, but Gallows and Anderson won. Jon Stewart was also involved because, of course, Jon Stewart was there. He came out in a New Day t-shirt, and he got in there with Gallows and Anderson, and they tried to post him, and that's actually when Big E came out there and ran. And then did you see Big E drink the specimen water or whatever? That almost made me gag a little bit. So all in all, I guess I'm happy that the New Day lives to fight at least one more pay-per-view, but you got to know, at this point, anytime they defend those belts, they can drop them. They're ripe as shit. The Miz retained his title as well. Very happy to see that because I was not ready for them just to slap a belt on a guy. Nothing against Apollo Crews. He's fantastic, unbelievably athletic. I even made a joke on Twitter that I was going to draft him number 1 in my fantasy football draft. So I got nothing against Apollo Crews, and I wish him a lot of success in the WWE, but I wasn't really ready to see them put the IC belt on him tonight. And Miz beat him with a slight assist from Maurice, but nailed him with a skull-crushing finale and pinned him. So the Miz retained, and I'm happy because I love the Miz's character. He's fucking great. Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, who I love their relationship. I mean, that is true love in its purest form, and it warms my heart. They actually defeated Enzo and Cass to open the show tonight, and the finish was great. It was a pop-up code breaker. Awesome. I thought Enzo had gotten killed on that. He took another nasty bump. Him and Sasha have got to be fucking careful, I swear. But Jericho and Owens were hilarious. I mean, Owens was yelling, "I love you, Chris." I think he even blowed him a kiss at one point, and then they were kind of hugging and celebrating all the way up the ramp. It was fucking great shit. So I'm a huge fan of Jericho right now, and whatever they do with him, I guess I can go along with it. I kind of thought they might have some dissension right away and just split them up. I thought they were just thrown together to give them a pay-per-view match. I didn't think this alliance could last too long, but it's going to last a little while longer, and I'm fine with that. They are great together. They moved Cesaro and Sheamus to the kickoff show, and Sheamus did pick up match 1 in their best-of-7 series. Sami Zayn and Neville defeated the Dudley Boys in a tag team match on the kickoff show, one that I didn't know was going to happen and I did not predict, and then another one that I did not predict, a 12-man tag with the Usos, Mojo and Ryder, and American Alpha beat the Ascension, the Vaudevillains, and Breezango. The Usos kind of teased a possible heel turn, which I'm fine with that. They need to go heel. I think it was Jay, one of them, tagged himself in and got the pin, so did the selfish thing there. So we might see a heel turn out of the Usos at some point in the future, and I hope we do. It's time. It's long overdue. They scrapped one match, too. Baron Corbin interrupted the pre-show panel and claims that Kalisto was not able to be cleared by his doctors, and he's accused him of being a coward and sitting at home on his couch with his wife, and he cut a pretty good promo. He took his gum out and put it on Jerry Lawler's script. He blew off Renee Young when she tried to ask him a question. He just came out there and voiced his opinion and stormed off, and Kalisto is another guy that I'm wondering if they are going to announce was suspended because, that match was supposed to take place. Why else would they scrap it? It's not like they can't squeeze it into a fucking 2-hour pre-show. It should be pretty easy to do. So the fact that they just scrapped it makes me think that Kalisto is another guy. So I'm worried for Kalisto. I'm worried for Bray Wyatt. I'm worried for Rusev. I'm worried for Sasha Banks. I'm worried for a lot of people, so who knows what the hell we're going to hear tomorrow. But I kind of hope it's nothing, and I hope that I'm overreacting. As far as what else I want to talk about tonight before I get out of here, I still have not had a chance to see NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. I saw parts of it. I know the results. I know who won. Congratulations to Shinsuke Nakamura. I saw a little bit of his match with Samoa Joe. Looked very good. His entrance was, oh my God, fantastic. Bobby Roode made his debut as well in that show. Talk about great entrances. Jesus Christ. Hideo Itami returned and nailed Austin Aries with a GTS after Aries won his match against No Way Jose. And I was surprised that the fans marked out for that as hard as they did. Now, is that the first time that he's used that move in the WWE or something? That's the way it sounded. Everybody was like, holy shit, the fans were even chanting GTS, GTS. And when he hit him with it, the roof blew off that place. So I don't know why that's such a big deal. He invented the fucking move. Why would he not use it in the WWE? Maybe it's just the tie-in with CM Punk. WWE didn't want him to or whatever. And he finally busted it out at TakeOver and nailed someone with it, so good for him. Asuka retained the title, defeating Bayley. Bayley, of course, could be up on the main roster at any time, especially if we're going to have a couple of women suspended now. Potentially 3 if Sasha goes, and then you add Paige and Eva Marie. So bringing up Bayley seems likely for Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, to say the least. I also heard a lot of good things about the tag match between the Revival and Gargano and Ciampa, so I'm going to make sure that I check out NXT TakeOver Brooklyn tonight a little bit more and possibly elaborate on it tomorrow night. Now, I have a feeling I'm going to be up here tomorrow night after Raw. I doubt I can skip it, so I will talk about possibly the day's news and what we saw on Monday Night Raw. If we hear about any suspensions in the morning, I will come up and do a quick video reacting to that, but right now you can expect to hear from me late Monday night after Monday Night Raw. I'll get into a review of the show, what we're looking at heading into the next pay-per-view, and any wrestling news that might break between now and then. So you guys have a great rest of your night. Let me know your opinions on SummerSlam, what you thought of the show, what you liked and disliked. I never really gave you my overall rating for the show, right? The feedback that I've seen on Twitter and social media so far, a lot of people were not that happy with the show. I was okay with it. Definitely not a great show, but I think it was better than last year. I remember last year's being a little bit disappointing, but, tonight we saw Finn Balor win a brand new title and get launched onto the map. We saw a fantastic match between AJ Styles and John Cena, one that gave us an outcome that everybody literally wanted to see. Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton gave us buckets of blood. So when you look at it like that, in a broad sense, I don't know what else we really wanted out of the SummerSlam, but there was still just a few things about this pay-per-view that felt a little off. I think the match order and the placement of all the matches was a little bit strange. And, of course, all these potential rumors that have been going around might have affected some of these outcomes as well. So you guys let me know what you think. I'll talk to you guys late tomorrow night after Raw, and possibly even before that on Monday afternoon. Until then, peace.